Hello, my name is Caden. This is Castle Tutelage, your home defense network. I'm doing a lot of different things these days, and I'm getting interested in last year and a half or so. I've been always interested in the psychopath. Not the typical psychopath that you're thinking about as Hannibal Lecter and Jeffrey Dahmer, that kind of psychopath, because those guys are fairly predictable, and they are extraordinarily rare. What I have been interested is the psychopath that doesn't have a criminal killing tendencies, where they are able to squash those feelings of here and now. What I'm interested is in the public life. What I am interested in is those psychopaths who are amongst us, okay, without a conscience. And what I was really reading about, and what was actually fascinating with me, is that psychopaths are interested in certain fields. Just like real brainiac geeks may be interested in video games, that kind of thing. Women nursing, women doctors, dentists, men oil fields, that kind of thing. There is a psychological drive toward certain industries for the psychopath. Now let's back up a little bit. Some of these books will tell you that 1 in 100 Americans are psychopaths. Other books will tell you that it is down to 1 in 20 people are psychopaths. And no matter how you go in, and I'm going to be changing in between the word psychopath and sociopath. What are the difference between the two? Well, that's for the beard scratchers in the universities to really decide, because psychopaths are basically born that way. Sociopaths learn to be that way. All right? And that's a distinction that is irrelevant, but it is kind of goes into when it becomes a group behavior. Because no one person may score to be a psychopath, but the organization may score to be like a psychopath. There was a police force in Northern California, and for the life of me, I can't remember what city it was. I think it was Pine City, where they arrested 1/3 of their police force for basically stealing cars away from low-income immigrant families, where they will impound the car, give it to a company, and like if they send 10 cars their way, they get 1 for free, and then they can sell it. And there was some kind of a thing with the police chief also, where he was kind of a psychopath. Now, where am I going with this? In the top 5 industries where psychopaths tend to go to, 1, politics. The other one, and this is not the top, actually CEOs is the top of the list. 2 is going to be politics, and in the top 5 is going to be lawyers. Well, it's kind of understanding, because lawyers go into politics, okay? They're sociopaths, they're psychopaths in a lot of different areas. You guys who don't like lawyers and you go see a lawyer, you get kind of slimy after you go see him. In the bottom 10 is very important also. In the bottom 10 is public servants, those bureaucrats, especially those administrative bureaucrats that have police forces, like the Bureau of Land Management, that kind of thing. The IRS. Psychopaths tend to gravitate toward those. But the thing I also want to say, and I may get a little bit of trouble with this from people, and I'll guarantee you this: if anyone makes any comments about this video telling me that I am a horrible person, I'm blank, they're going to label me A, B, or C. That's actually what a psychopath does, is that he tries to disparage the person instead of intellectually sitting down and discussing the differences. Also within the top 10 are policemen and firemen. And those are the things that we need to take care of, because the Constitution is great. Because now that the way that I look at the Constitution is that The Constitution is there to protect us from psychopaths, from that rogue police officer, from that rogue prosecutor, from that judge, from the politician who makes up all these laws, from the regulators who make all these regulations up to control us. That's what really interests me. So when people ask me, why am I so involved in the ABC workings of defending yourself in the Second Amendment? This is one of the reasons why. This book, everybody should have. The Law of Self-Defense by Andrew Brackett. Everybody should have this book. Okay? It is very important for us to protect ourselves. Do not accuse a police officer from being a psychopath. The interesting thing about the police officers is that, or in industry like Suits and Snakes, a lot of people see psychopaths' characteristics as a good thing, like in the CEO world. And what happens is that they'll travel up the ladder, and the people who are not psychopaths will look at their behavior and say, hey, this is the behavior that I need to advance in the ladder, to become that sergeant, to become that lieutenant, that detective, or whatever. So what will happen is that good police officers will turn certain things off in their brain and start looking at you as not as a human, but as a criminal. I've had conversations with police officers on here before, and I've always told people, do not talk to them, because you do not know all the laws. The police officers are usually more fluent in the laws. I talk about a buddy of mine who was driving down the road with a cell phone in a commercial vehicle. Police officer pulls him over and says, I saw you're on your phone. So he said, yes. I told him, don't talk yourself into becoming a criminal. Okay? And the next question is, it's going to seem kind of benign. The next question for the police officer was who you were talking to. That seems like a pretty benign question, doesn't it? My friend said his wife. The cop said, good answer. Because what would have happened is if he said he was talking to his company, the fine would be an extra $6,000. I don't remember what the amount would be. I think talking on the phone is $2,500 and somewhere around $7,500 to $8,000 for talking to the company. Okay. Police, in talking to that police officer, he didn't say, you're not talking yourself into becoming a criminal. You are a criminal. That's how police officers look at us. Criminals in waiting. I should say, in general, what police officers look at us, because they have to protect themselves. They need to go home each and every night. Is it okay for a police officer to treat you like a criminal because of their safety? If that is okay, why can't we look at police officers that they're going to be taking our liberty away? All right? We need to protect ourselves against the psychopaths. We need to protect ourselves against the organization that starts looking at that starts acting like a psychopath. That is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be learning more and more about this. I've been kind of on the fringes on it for about a year and a half, and recently in the past 4 months, 3 or 4 months or so, I've been really diving in deep with psychopaths. I think it is just a fascinating thing how a psychopath is the predator within the human community. They are more destructive than anything out there. All right. Again, what I want to finally say, and I'm going to be closing. I'm going to back this up a little bit. I know that there are a lot of good police officers out there. If you dial 911, I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to hustle their butt to save your ass. I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to be doing that. But when a police officer pulls you over, they have the ability to take away what God gave you by what they say. All right? How is your credibility going to be going against a police officer? The police officer is protected by Constitution that they are liars. But once they get on the stand, all of a sudden we have to take their word as gospel. No, you got to trust them, but verify. All right? Trust, but verify. It's plain and simple. I don't have anything against a police officer. All I'm trying to do is say this. Psychopaths have a propensity of going to positions of power. Police officers, prosecuting attorneys, judges, politicians. That's 4 levels of crap, isn't it? My name is Kate, and this is Castle Tutelage, your home defense network. I hope this helped.